big capital gain or big income. And he's a famous person. You all know the name, which I can't say.
Come on, tell us.
But I had a special person do the options, and we cornered to put some calls in Cap Cities Broadcasting. And in January, we accomplished our purpose. We took care of his capital gain. And January 3rd, he said, sell out. And I said, no, please don't. He says, sell out. So we sold. 30 days later, Cap City was taken over by ABC, and I can't tell you how much money he lost on the table.
All right, do we have another question, please? Ron Cragen. Please use the mic.
Aaron, how do you handle the emotions of, let's say, going to bed one night, getting up in the morning, and you lose $100,000, let's say?
Like yesterday.
It's any amount, but it doesn't make any difference. If you know your company, know where they're going, and if you're a long-term holder. I've owned stocks for 40 years. I've owned stocks for 2 days. I made most of the money holding stocks for 40 years, 20 years, 10 years. I get information on every stock that I own or my former clients own, not only from the company, but from all my friends in the business. We all exchange information. And if you know what you own, it's like if you own a store in town and you know that business is going to be good next year and better the year after and better the third year. And somebody comes and wants us to buy the business or a hotel, you sell, but you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And when you sell, you then have another, you made one decision to sell, and then you have to make another decision to buy. And you have a 50-50 chance of making the wrong decision, and you have to pay your tax and have less money to invest.
By the way, Wall Street likes your presence here, Aaron. It's up 574 points right now. Yay! Wait a minute, Alan.
Could you speak a little bit on reverse splits?
So the question is, could you explain reverse splits to us?
Usually a reverse split is done by a company that has too many shares outstanding and has a very low price. This happened about a month ago to us. I did some investigation on the only one stock I bought this year, and for my friends and myself. I learned the story from, happened to be the research director of a medical company, that he was working there and he was leaving his other well-paying job. I investigated, he told me they were working on 2 projects, he didn't tell me anything else. I investigated the company for a couple months, looked at their company, what they were working on, what competition was working on, and where they were in their research. And we bought the stock at 97 cents a share, something I barely ever have done, but I was sold on the research. They had 300 million shares outstanding. So they did a reverse, 147. And so the stock then went up to actually $6. 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of the things that they were working on, the FDA is accepting, and they have distribution. Stock was 6 and went up to 12 in one day.
So can you tell us the name of this company, please?
Something I
we want to know.
I'll tell you why I don't. I can tell you stories. I've given advice to people about stocks. I don't know whether they bought it, they sold it, if I sell it and I don't know they own it, then I'm responsible. And I can tell you a story about somebody in town who I told to buy Comcast when I was 24. This was 4 or 5 years ago. And he bought a nice position, he's wealthy. He went down to 16, and I heard about it. I heard a lot about it, and more. And then he bought more, and then when he came to the point where he was even, he didn't tell me, he sold out. Well, stock had a split and went up, dropped from his cost 3.5 times in 4 years. And I can say this, and I'm not trying to boast, but in 2009, when the markets were down as far as they could go, and people who bought stocks in our positions, and some have had, those stocks went up 400% in 5 years. And one person had a little bit more, went up 600%. Even though it's down now, maybe 20%, maybe 30, I don't know. I don't figure that out because to me, the only important date that you have to look at if you own stocks is December 31st. What did I do this year or what didn't I do this year? And that to me is the only important date.
Okay.
And today, there are great companies that are selling for 20, 30, and 40% below what they should be selling.
Okay, Alan? Alan leads.
I have 2 questions. What is the difference between a special dividend and a regular dividend? Is that a spin-off and then a distribution of cash? And the second question is, why do companies always buy in their stock when the stock is very high instead of when it comes down cyclically and they can get a better deal buying their stock when it's at a low point, but they never seem to do it until it's at its 52-week high?
The second question is easy. They have money to buy stock to reduce the number of shares outstanding, which helps their earnings per share. But they buy stock high and low. As long as they have money, companies are spending billions of dollars of buying stock instead of giving you a dividend. But the value of their stocks sometimes go up. Now, a dividend is taxable. A dividend comes from earnings and is taxable at 15%.
It's actually taxable twice.
Well, it's taxable
Once-
to the company,
Once by the company and then once by you.
and so you have to pay your tax, and it can go as high as 20% plus 3%. A special dividend is return of investment, and it's not called income. It's a return of your investment. And so when Cablevision returned $10 when the stock was 15, and we had a $5 cost, we made $5 doing nothing.
Okay, Lita Heller. Okay, yes, sir.
You said to know your companies. How exactly do you know your companies? Oftentimes when you get advice from a broker, it's because someone in the back room is telling them, go out and sell this stock. So what would you recommend for the average person to, as you said, know your company?
I was a broker. I was a broker for some time. I worked at E.F. Hutton. I went bust. And I won't tell you that story because that's an interesting one too. Because I had sold E.F. Hutton, but they turned down the deal. As a broker, I had permission from E.F. Hutton to do my corporate finance work, to have accounts with other brokers. During that time, I was in New York as much as I was in Sarasota, going to meetings with companies, going to conferences, dinners, breakfast, everything. I sat next to the president for dinner and breakfast of AT&T one night and day. Didn't believe him, but I had that opportunity. You know people, become friends with them. Friendship can last a long time.
But Aaron, what can the common man or woman do in this room? What can we do
I think I said it.
to learn these
I
companies?
think I said it. Every conference is now on your internet. And you can look at a company name and look on, they say conference or meetings, put it on, and you can listen to the president talk, which is better than me going to New York if I can listen in my office. And listen to what they say, what the CFO says, what every person and they usually last an hour or two. And then do your own research. Look to see what other companies are writing about that company.